Hello, everybody, and welcome to this latest episode of Geeks Love Lists. My name is Brendyn and joining me is Robin Lee Chetty.
Howdy.
And Lee Monzon.
He gets his howdy. Hey, everybody.
So we are well into the new year already. We're still in January, which everybody knows lasts at least 3 months. But we thought that we'd throw forward to what we're looking forward to this year in terms of content. 2023 was quite good in terms of video games, movies. Unfortunately, when it came to movies and series, there was also the Hollywood strike, the Screen Actors Guild, the Writers Guild of America, and that put a lot of productions behind schedule. Obviously because union actors could not work, they could not cross the picket line, and as such there were delays in productions of numerous films and series. Funny enough though, there wasn't much reality TV that came around this time. I know the last actor strike that we had in 2007 lasted for a lot shorter, but it also saw the rise of terrible reality TV, and I didn't see that happening this time around. So maybe we dodged the bullet there. But before we get into what we're looking forward to for the next year, I want to look back at maybe what was our favorite piece of content from 2023. So I think let's start with you, Robin. What was your standout movie, series, or video game for 2023?
So as always, I'm going to pick an anime.
Okay. The anime man.
No, I think that's Joey. But my pick was Jujutsu Kaisen, Season 2. It was perhaps some of the best action in an anime I saw all of last year. The second season just wrapped up now. And what I really loved about it was obviously the quality of animation was superb. So Mappa, who still don't understand how they have all the biggest hitters as far as anime are concerned. They hit it out the park with this one as far as animations goes. The fangirls were fawning over Gojo and his eyes.
He's so sexy.
Very attractive young man. But what I really enjoyed about it was the fact that the anime community was really loving what they were seeing. And much like Attack on Titan when it first came out, I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen is a way for non-anime fans to get into anime. I often watch a lot of YouTube channels whose videos are really just kind of breaking down what happens in an episode, but breaks it down as far as like all the terrific beatdowns that happen in the game. In the series. So seeing different kind of communities and kind of engaging with the anime was really cool. And I think we're now in the era where anime is no longer some kind of niche thing. It is very much mainstream. And I think I used to be a bit of a gatekeeper as far as anime is concerned. Like, This is my thing, it's not your thing. But I think having more people interested in it, enjoying it, is always going to be better. So I think Jujutsu Kaisen, as far as an action anime is concerned, kind of hit all the marks I wanted it to hit. And I think it's kind of helping to grow a larger fan base for anime in general.
Okay, so and where can you watch that?
Crunchyroll is your best port of call, probably the most affordable as well.
Okay.
Obviously, you can go on the high seas if you really want to, but let's rather support platforms that do things legally.
Support the artists.
Yes.
And Louis, what was your favorite piece of media from 2023?
You guys might have a good idea. But I've talked about Baldur's Gate 3 enough.
What?
On the podcast.
What game?
But I will say I played a lot. I played a lot of RPGs last year. Some old ones, some new ones. I guess I have a little bit of a escapist kind of bone in my body. I think I need a little bit of a fantasy world just to kind of wash over all the terrible things I see online every day. Maybe. But I've said how that game is kind of like a really solid return to form of the idea that you can really do whatever you want. You can make your own character and you can really like live this fantasy life and they did it in a way that's not cheap and terrible, but really good, and takes the player, respects the player, and wants to actually tell a good story and all that stuff. But what's happened with Baldur's Gate 3 after the fact, it's kind of this return to form of the CRPG, right?
Yeah.
Of the computer role-playing game. Usually that term has been reserved for like Dungeons and Dragons RPGs of like the late 90s, early 2000s, like the original Baldur's Gates and stuff, and Planescape Torment and all that stuff. But now we're seeing like companies like, man, this not only is this kind of game really good, but it sells, right?
Yeah.
People like these games. I don't know about you guys, but there might be a kind of a thing where it's like people kind of see the world and it sucks, so they kind of want to disappear into the little fantasy, life. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Now we have Rogue Trader.
Yeah.
That's come out at the end. They came out at the end of last year. That's a top-down RPG told in the Warhammer 40k universe. I'm going to talk about more about that later. Warhammer specifically, but I'm super happy that 2023 is the year that we're getting classic RPGs again.
Yeah.
New classic RPGs. I mean, they tried Starfield, and Starfield, man, that game. It started out good. Everything was okay. Everything was fine.
I was so excited.
But the more people played it, the more the glaring holes in Bethesda's. They're throwing around the term outdated. Can you really make the same game 5 times?
But those loading screens, though.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, so Starfield won the most innovative game on the Steam Awards.
Yeah,
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like you don't even have a map in the cities, and you want to tell me this is innovative. Nah, it's those Bethesda employees that were trying to convince people. No, Starfield is very good, actually.
In the reviews.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Man. Okay,
yeah.
so less Starfield, more BG3, and it's good. I like it. Let's go back to that. I hope some more of those games comes out. I will probably try them. But yeah.
So for me, I'm cheating a little bit, although it was sort of an event. Over the festive season, I watched Barbenheimer, so Barbie and Oppenheimer. And let me tell you, one of those movies gave me the biggest existential crisis I've ever had, and the other was about an atomic bomb. So, I mean, they're both really good movies. Cillian Murphy is chef's kiss. He is fantastic. Yes, he did, Golden Globe. Honestly, my favorite part of Barbie was Ryan Gosling.
A lot of people say that. I haven't watched it yet, but
he is honestly the best part of that movie, and you wouldn't expect it.
But to be honest, the movie is about his character. Ken is the main character.
Well, he's literally me, for real.
So, I mean, Margot Robbie is fantastic, but she is just fantastic. And to see her in something that's not Suicide Squad is just fantastic. It's great. She's an amazing actress. I'm surprised that she hasn't been recognized more for that role. And Oppenheimer is just a real dark movie about the atomic bomb, which I find really interesting. And there's a lot of really tense moments. There's a sex scene in it, if that's your jam.
J. Robert, that guy got around.
Yeah.
That guy got around. Jeez. I was amazed.
I think those were my 2 favorite pieces of media that came out of 2023 was Barbie and Oppenheimer, and the collective fervor with which the internet seized upon both of them because they were releasing on the same day. And it makes sense. They really were. They kind of play well off of each other, right? Like olives and pineapple on pizza, right? Sweet and salty. But I think that if you've ignored Barbie, definitely go and watch it. Even if you're like a big burly man, it's well worth your time. It's hilarious. It's thought provoking, and it's just a fun movie. Like there's no notes. Fun movie. Go watch it. Rent it on Google Play or iTunes. It's just absolutely fantastic. Right. So now we've got that out of the way. Let's take a look at 3 pieces of media that we're looking forward to this year. So I think we'll go with a movie, a series, and then a video game. And we'll start with Robin because I don't know if he's going to keep to that format.
No, I'll stick to the rules.
Okay, fantastic.
So, as far as the movie is concerned, this was actually earmarked for 2023, but got delayed because of that aforementioned strike.
Yeah.
And that's Dune Part 2. I need to ready my body.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
For the
I'm not
IMAX
prepared.
experience.
Oh man.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I was a massive fan of the part one. I do have my notes about it, however. Yes, it was long, but people that don't know the Dune lore, haven't read the books, don't realize just how much they cut out of it.
Yeah.
There is so much exposition, so much lore, so much background that was left out of the film. And I ideally wanted them to make this a 3-parter. Because I feel like in part one, you could have ended it right after the Harkonnens attack the Atreides. And kind of
Extended that out a bit more, that whole
and do that
build-up.
coup.
Yeah.
And then the second part can be Paul in the desert, and the third part can be, let me not spoil anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have an issue with that. However, the visuals, Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors in recent memory.
His eyes.
It's unbelievable what he's put together. I'm really looking forward to see a lot of the action set pieces, as well as Christopher Walken as the Emperor. Want to see what he brings to it. And yeah, it looks like I've only seen trailers so far, but it looks like it has maybe 4 or 5 times as much action as part one had.
It looks a lot bigger as well.
Yeah, the scale. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just like, hey, we're setting the scene now. I think it's like, yeah, it just looks way bigger than the last film.
I'm like, one thing I'm really concerned about is, like we mentioned, how big and full of stuff the books are.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that has to happen now for Paul. So many like characters he has to be introduced with, and so many like things that need to take place. And I'm like, how are they gonna manage to get that
6-hour movie? Come on, let's go. I mean, so my parents every December watch Papillon, which is like an 18-hour movie. Yeah. It's ridiculously long. Yeah. But yeah, make it a 6-hour movie. Do it.
Have like
do it. Have an intermission.
Yeah.
Just do it. 6-hour movie. Let give the people what they want.
I don't know. I watched Oppenheimer and I was like, damn. I could you go to the toilet right about now. So yeah, Dune Part 2 comes out on 1st of March. Really looking forward to it. I'll be blocking out most of my day that day, heading to IMAX and just letting the experience just wash over me. And I will likely watch it probably 3 or 4 times over the next few days after its release. And yeah, I would be interested to know if they're going to do a part 3, because obviously there's Children of Dune. Things get a lot crazier, if you can believe that. Worms and space travel and all those good things.
If I'm not mistaken, they've already confirmed he's gonna do Dune Messiah.
Interesting.
So after this one, so I don't know how they're gonna make it fit and all that stuff. So
maybe they'll do a series, a Disney Plus series.
They'll do a Max series, I'm sure. Some kind of backlog, or at least filling in the gaps.
Yeah, between...
They can fit more content, they will.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, who doesn't want to know more about the Bene Gesserit?
And also, who doesn't want to see more Timothy Chamomile? What's his name?
Yes, and maybe like a Fremen prequel series, so people can get their Zendaya fix. Yeah, so looking forward to that as far as the movie is concerned. As mentioned, 1st of March, releases in cinemas, that's South African cinemas as well. As far as the TV series is concerned, this is one that wasn't on my radar until quite recently.
Yeah.
It's called Shogun.
Okay.
I have a soft spot for anything that's set in feudal era Japan and involves samurai. This is what this story is about. It seems like it's quite similar to Marco Polo, as far as it's a foreigner getting into Japan and then kind of entering into like a palace or some kind of royal kind of setup, and then kind of his point of view of what's going on in this world. So it kind of ticks all the boxes I need from it. It's an FX series, and I've really been impressed with their stuff of late. Obviously, the Atlanta series that wrapped up last year, and then I guess The Bear is part of FX, FX/Hulu kind of stuff. So their recent track record is really good. So I'm looking forward to that. Its release is quite soon as well, 27th of February.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know, however, when it's coming to Disney Plus. So FX content is available locally to stream via Disney Plus. Hopefully the same goes for Shogun. I haven't seen any mention of it yet. That said, we have received press releases when a bunch of these series were announced by Disney. We received press releases kind of mentioning it, but no confirmation yet that it'll come
Yeah.
to the platform. I'm assuming it will. Most of FX's stuff does. So really looking forward to that when it comes out.
So I'm also hyped about this one. It's based on a series of books, and if I'm not mistaken, the Shogun book was like the first of its kind, telling the story of the Westerner going to Japan, and that. Nowadays, that trope has been used like in games and in other movies and stuff.
The Last Samurai.
Yeah, say what you will. That Tom Cruise movie was good.
It was pretty epic, yeah.
Talking about the Tom Cruise movie, Hiroyuki Sanada, who plays like the Grand and the Gruff Samurai in The Last Samurai, he plays the Shogun.
That guy is so cool.
In the show.
Awesome.
He's such a cool dude, and he's often played samurai and stuff, so he's a very good sword fighter man.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. If it doesn't come out on Disney Plus, I'm going to have to figure out.
Find a
I'm going
way.
to find a way.
Life will find a way.
I know a guy who can help. Then for the game, I've chosen Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. So
Ninja Theory, yeah?
yeah, so the original game, I don't want to say it surprised everyone, but it kind of blew everyone out the water when it came out.
Yeah.
The kind of psychological elements of the game and kind of how that was intertwined with the storyline and this woman's kind of journey through this kind of almost like this Nordic hellscape,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
The audio for that game was also just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they kind of really hit out the park on those fronts. This game, I think it was announced almost like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we saw
When
footage.
E3 was still a thing.
Oh, yes, E3. Remember E3. Saw footage, was already hyped then. Seen more footage, even more hype. The more recent trailers, it looks super, super intense. I think it's going to be one of those games where you can have to, every few hours, just stop and just kind of decompress.
What do you mean a few hours? The first game, somebody told me you have to play it through in one sitting. You can't stop playing it. And I got to the last hour or so of the game, the last little section of the game. And I had to put it down because I was emotionally exhausted. I was too stressed, too anxious. It was great, don't get me wrong, but it took such a toll on me mentally. I had to put it down for months before I could go back and actually finish the game. When I did, it was fine. But whatever Ninja Theory did with that game, it was magic. Because the sound design, the visuals, the story behind it, the just I need to know what is going on. That sense of just exploring and learning more was so well captured by them. And I'm a little bit nervous about the second title because I don't know how they're going to capture that magic again.
I don't know. I don't think it'll suffer from a sophomore slump. I think that...
I hope not.
Yeah. I think that because they've had a lot of time to kind of work on the game, let it gestate a bit, kind of spit and polish and all those good things, I think it'll be good. Only issue is I'm a PlayStation guy. This is coming out on Xbox. I will probably have to borrow the Hypertext Office Xbox to play it. And also, we don't know when it's going to release. So it is slated for 2024. No definitive date, however.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't get delayed or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely one game I might even pre-order.
No pre-orders. Like I said the last episode, no pre-orders.
Yeah, so those are kind of my picks for 2024. I'm sure there will be more things that are announced in the year, but right now, those are the 3 things that I'm really looking forward to.
Okay, I'm going to go next, and then Louis can round us off. So I'm going to start with my series, which I have avoided this series so far because I didn't want to have to deal with this weight. But Invincible Season 2, Part 2. So we don't have a definitive date for it yet, except for early 2024. But I have avoided Season 2 so far because I don't want to have to wait. Because I remember watching the first season of Invincible and not being able to stop, and literally consuming it in one night, just watching it all in one go. So I don't want to have to deal with the wait. So I'm anxiously awaiting Season 2, Part 2. And yeah, it's just Invincible was such a revelation for me. I had always kind of looked at animation as I don't have to take it so seriously. It's not trying to do anything groundbreaking. But I think what Invincible did for me at least was show me that there are good stories that can come from an animated thing. Because for me, my only experience with sort of quote-unquote adult animation was like Rick and Morty, which to me was just always kind of like, oh, it's just slapstick comedy, which wasn't fun. But Invincible kind of told this incredible story about a father and a son and how that dynamic affects both of them. And J.K. Simmons is just fantastic in everything he does. So, yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to Invincible Season 2, Part 2, whenever that does release. And then I will just binge watch the whole of Season 2 from the beginning again.
Yeah, I would advise anyone who hasn't watched Invincible and has access to Amazon Prime Video,
Yeah.
please watch it.
It's very violent.
The first episode,
Oh, yeah.
for 95% of it, is so vanilla.
Yeah.
And then the last 5%, I was like, what has just happened?
And it just got me wanting to watch the next episode. And that just carried on. Somehow, the creators of that show just have that way of hooking you in and going, you're going to sit down and watch the next one. You best believe. And it's just really, really good. It's well acted. It's well animated. Just watch it. It is absolutely worth your time. For movies, I'm going a little bit left field. It's a movie called Twisters. And if that name sounds familiar,
It does.
It's because it is a follow-up to the Twister movie from the late 90s.
Is that a tornado movie?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a movie about tornadoes with Philip Seymour Hoffman. May he rest in peace. But this is now a new set of storm chasers that have a early detection for storms because, satellites don't exist apparently.
Okay.
And I love disaster movies. I picked up a Disney Plus subscription over December to watch some holiday movies. And I watched The Day After Tomorrow. And
That's a good one, though.
I was just gleeful, right? It was amazing. So I really like disaster movies. I know Twister was recently on Netflix, the original movie from the 90s. And I loved it. It was just a great disaster movie, really well acted from back in the day, and some actually pretty good CGI. There's a scene where a house rolls over a road, and they drive through the house, and that whole house was constructed with CGI. And if you think about when this movie was made, the fact that it looked so real is absolutely astounding. I'm not expecting that level of CGI in this movie. In fact, I'm not even expecting this to be a good movie. I'm just expecting it to be sort of like the Meg 2, which is so bad it's just good. So yeah, Twisters is coming out in July of 2024.
Is Helen Hunt?
No, she is not in it,
Damn.
which is unfortunate. Maybe it'll be like Andrew Garfield in that Spider-Man movie, right? So no one's there, and then hey, she's the lady who's cooking them breakfast that gives you a heart attack. Finally, my game for this year, it's more just I'm so happy this is going to be over, but Destiny 2, The Final Shape. So The Final Shape is the conclusion of a story that Destiny has been telling since 2014, the light versus the darkness. A lot more has been revealed in terms of what that battle actually is. The big bad in this is the Witness, which is actually just an amalgamation of people, or the amalgamation of a species into one being. And essentially, we are, as guardians in the game, going to enter the Traveler, the big orb that has been the central focus of Destiny for all these years, the source of the power of the player's character. And we are going inside of this for The Final Shape. Now, this was originally supposed to come out at the end of February. It has now been delayed to June, July of this year. It escapes me right now. But that means that there is a lot of anticipation on this. The sentiment towards Bungie is an all-time low among Destiny players. Not helped at all by the fact that they recently executed mass layoffs within Bungie.
Which doesn't bode well for the expansion.
No, it does not. That's why a delay is kind of good news, because it means that those who are working on it have a bit more time. After this, though, many hardcore Destiny commentators and players, myself included, believe that this is the end of the game. Yeah, it's the end of Bungie's Destiny, because there's nowhere really to go from here. And the game is just very old at this point. The Destiny 2 engine, the Tiger engine, was released in 2017. And there's been a lot of developments since then in terms of game engines. It's basically being held together with spit and duct tape, is an analogy that a lot of people use. And I'm more just anticipating this for the saga to be over, for the story to be over. Because I'm bored now, right? I'm a hardcore Destiny player, but I am bored. I'm tired of the same old cycle, doing the same old missions, doing the same old bounties day in and day out. I'm kind of just bored of it now, and I want it to end. And I'm so invested in this game that I just want to know how it ends. I want to know what the final salvo is. So yeah, Destiny 2, the final shape, the finale of Bungie's saga that it's been telling for all these years. I'm just going to be happy for it to be over.
Would you play a Destiny 3?
Hell no.
Really?
Hell no.
Because I was like you, I started playing in 2014 when the original Destiny came out. Poured lots of money into the game. And then during the pandemic, kind of it just waned for me.
It's just, I mean, what more can you do with Destiny? I mean, the mechanics are great. Yeah, they absolutely are. But Bungie's working on another first-person shooter called Marathon. And it's one of its old IPs, and that's like a extraction shooter, which is all the rage at the moment. So I think that like Destiny it's run its course. It was a good story.
But I mean, the community is massive.
It is massive, but it's getting smaller though. So over the last year, there's been a massive dip led by the Lightfall expansion, which was widely regarded as one of the worst. Coming off of the back of one of the best, it hurt Bungie. And lots of players have been complaining about the systems within the game, the fact that it's not rewarding, the fact that there are so many bugs, so many cheaters within the player versus player experience. It's just become a bit like, okay, you know what, just go sleep now. Because it's fine. We don't need a Destiny 3. The story's been told. The final shape is the conclusion of that story, unless something massive is going to happen, which I don't see happening. Because right now what Bungie is doing is it's tying up all of its loose ends with all of the story threads that it's put out over the years. And it's done now. It's over. And that's fine. That is absolutely fine. So I think, as I said, I just want this to be over now. I want to be able to put down Destiny and not have this FOMO in the back of my head saying, well, you know, you should be getting those unique pieces of armor, you know, so that you can do those solo raids that you're never going to do. And yeah, I'm just happy. I'm going to be happy when it's over. The team that has worked on this game has done a fantastic job. The stories up until now have been great. People will slam me for that after the end of the most recent season. But overall, Destiny 2 has been a great story, a great experience. It was a game that lost me and brought me back and has had its hooks in me since 2018. So, yeah. Destiny 2, final shape, later this year. Louis, let's go with you.
We go from one delayed video game to
another.
My pick for the game this year is Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. A sequel of another action game that came out a long time ago, probably longer than I remember. But the original was really good, really great. It's probably one of the best Warhammer games. You know, the Games Workshop likes
a cult following.
Yeah, Games Workshop likes to give that license to anybody, and every now and then a diamond shows up.
Yeah,
does the IP credit. Space Marine 2 looks really, really good. It looks like they've taken everything they learned from the first one, and they're improving it. It looks better. It looks like it plays better. It looks like the storyline will be more fleshed out. But it was delayed. It was supposed to come out at the beginning of this year, and now it's only gonna come out in September. So there's a long wait ahead for the faithful few waiting for that. It's not being made by Relic Interactive anymore because Relic died a painful death. It's being made by a company called Saber Interactive. And
didn't Relic become a Blizzard
Relic
property?
was consumed by another big
Ubisoft.
But I think it was Ubisoft, either Ubisoft or EA. It was sucked and destroyed. Rest in peace. But so Saber Interactive, they made the DayZ video game.
Oh.
And they have an engine that is capable of rendering thousands of creatures and zombies, right? So they took that engine and they're using it to render hundreds of thousands of Tyranids, which will be the main kind of things you'll be fighting in the game. So for those who don't know what Tyranids are, think about the Zerg in StarCraft. The Zerg are based on the Tyranids because Blizzard doesn't have any unique ideas. So it's basically this giant consuming insect.
Tell us how you really feel.
This giant consuming insect. I mean, if you go to Blizzard's kind of catalog, everything can be linked to something else, you know? The Lich King, all that stuff is Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not going to get into it. I don't have time. But yeah, Space Marine 2 is coming out later this year on the 9th of September. It looks really great. There hasn't been much talk about the multiplayer. The multiplayer was very big in the first game. You could, it was basically like PvP. You could do Space Marines versus Chaos Space Marines, and you could like customize your guy, and it was really good. You know, everyone likes to color their.
I feel like it would be silly for them to not like, leverage that,
Maybe
right?
that's why they've delayed it. Right, so they can flesh out the multiplayer a bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe they started seeing people. Oh, I can't wait for the multiplayer. And they're like, shit, we don't have anything.
Yeah.
To give them.
If you're not a Warhammer guy, 'cause I'm not a Warhammer person, can you jump in now?
Do you like big burly men killing aliens with chainsaws?
Yes. Who doesn't?
Exactly.
You're in.
You're in. It's you like really great third-person shooter action, then you can check it out. It's kind of like Doom. It has like that Doom mechanic, Doom Eternal mechanic, where when your enemy is kind of knocked out, you can grab them and you can squish them.
Oh yeah.
Ways. It has that. It's kind of like a power fantasy game. Realized. I hope it's good. Anything? I'm not gonna pre-order it. I'm gonna wait. Otherwise, I'm gonna get the slap on the wrist.
It's highly anticipated though. People are really, really looking forward to this title.
I hope it's good. I'm one of those people. And then I shall move to my movie for this year. So at the end of last year, there was a Japanese Godzilla movie, Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
People said it's really good, probably the best Godzilla movie. People are saying about that movie that it's the only Godzilla movie that's managed to get a good story happening around the people.
Oh.
Right? So in these monster movies, Godzilla is doing something.
Yeah.
Godzilla's like the main attraction.
Yeah.
Godzilla's doing something, and in the background, look at the humans. Who cares? What are the names? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But in this one, the people are like an important part of the movie, and it's like a really the storyline of Godzilla -1 is that it's kind of like this deep, very Japanese story about like this former pilot who doesn't want to be a kamikaze pilot, and there's like some serious stuff that they're talking about.
Okay.
Which kind of harkens back to the origin of Godzilla being a metaphor for the atomic bombs and for the destruction of war and all that stuff. On that note, the American IP will not be any of that.
No.
Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
Oh gosh.
Is going to be a kaiju monster attack punch kick fest. No, it's gonna be nuts, insane. King Kong and Godzilla are gonna team up to fight a bigger Kong version, and the monkey.
Didn't they do that in the last one with Mecha Godzilla?
Yeah, the last one was a Godzilla.
Oh, is it a Kong now?
Now they're gonna find a big Kong creature.
Big red monkey.
Big monkey, and it has lightning powers, and it's gonna be I'm so excited for the run. They're gonna run. They're gonna do like a bro fist. It's gonna be sick. That's coming out on the 12th of April. It's gonna be just a bombastic, crazy film.
I mean, I think that those movies kind of they lean into the absurdness because they realize, look, we're not telling a story here that anybody cares about.
Yeah.
They want to see big lizard fight big monkey.
Hell yes.
And they want to see it in the day, right? We don't need to do nighttime stuff anymore. We have good enough CGI.
Yeah.
Monkey fight lizard, go.
Yes, I really love the fact that they try and have some kind of human element to it. No one cares about that.
No.
I don't care.
I mean, we're going back to the Hollow Earth.
We're going back to the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, boy.
Now, like at this beginning of the legendary Godzilla Monarch verse.
Yeah.
Very like, oh, this is like normal modern times.
Yeah.
It's Godzilla's attacking the city.
Now we're just.
Now it's like, who cares? Now it's science fiction. There's spaceships, and they've
Hollow Earth.
They're going nuts, right? And that's fine.
I'm glad about
that's
that.
That's where it needs to go.
Yeah, like let other people do the serious Godzilla story, right? Like, I've heard nothing but great things about Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
But I mean, give me the mindless action any day as
Yeah.
well.
What I don't understand though is because there's an Apple TV series for Monarch.
Yes.
Mm.
Rise of the Monsters. I
Yeah.
think it's called.
And that looks closer to the visuals of the first Godzilla reboot with Ken Watanabe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is more grounded.
which says
and-
let them fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it looks nothing similar to the movies, the more recent movies. How are these worlds connected? It doesn't make sense.
I don't
no
think.
idea.
No, I think so. I think that whole Monarch verse was established when the first movie came out, or the first Godzilla Monarch movie, King Kong, all that. I think they established that idea with the series in mind, and I think around about the time of Godzilla vs Kong, I think that's when everybody was kind of like, okay, look, we're trying to build a cinematic universe here. It ain't gonna work. Let's just do Godzilla and King Kong fighting each other. Then we'll introduce Mecha Godzilla, and we'll just turn it into an event,
Yeah.
right? Rather than this huge connected universe.
Why are they-
That's my thinking, right? I don't know if that's accurate, but my thinking is that the series was established long before all these other movies were going and in production, and they were like, well, we have it. Is John Goodman in that, by the way?
No,
I think
it's
he's in the
another.
series, isn't he?
It's not the series. It's another actor. Is it Kurt Russell? Kurt Russell's in it.
Oh, okay, all right.
So yeah, that's coming out. Godzilla x Kong. I don't know if it's like a hunter situation.
Godzilla's going to clap so many big monkeys
It's gonna be crazy.
because he bodied Kong twice,
Yeah.
and he still came back. He still wants to get bodied more.
There's this weird thing, just like an aside. This is weird thing in the Monarch verse. They
Yeah.
always have the Godzilla monster, and they always have like a Japanese character longingly looking up. and like, what's up with that? Like, if it's not Ken Watanabe now, it's a new woman who's the
Yeah.
Japanese Godzilla lover. You know, and it's the Gojira, you know.
Yeah.
What's up with that, legendary? There's this like an agreement with Toei, with I think it's Toei, who owns the Godzilla rights or whatever, that they're like, it has to be Japanese a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, that's coming out 12th of April, and then for some reason, very oddly, this is completely coincidental.
Yeah.
Something else that's coming on the 12th of April. So that's gonna have me kind of deciding what I'm gonna do with that day. It's the first episode of the Amazon Prime Fallout TV series,
Yeah.
based on the video game IP that is now owned by Bethesda, and like The Last of Us before it, Bethesda is heavily involved in the series. In this series, one Todd Howard is an executive producer. He has executive production.
So much detail.
So
16 times the detail.
we're gonna see that detail. Yeah, it's gonna be like a Bethesda Fallout. Don't think about the original.
Fallout 1 and 2.
Yeah, those are much darker, and they like Fallout New Vegas. It has a lot of great writing there. But it's gonna be like the Bethesda Fallout.
It's like, it looks like to me, from what I've seen from the trailer or the teaser that they showed off last year, it looks like Fallout 3.
Yeah.
It really looks like they're just taking Fallout 3 and going, hey.
where it's like megaton.
Yeah,
It looks
and
Megaton.
like there's a dude who's in a white coat who
Yeah.
looks like your father in
Yeah.
Fallout 3. So I feel like they are leaning heavily on that story, which scares me because it was not the best story.
And the ending was ruinous.
Yeah.
But it's Fallout 3 had a lot of like really bright spots.
Yeah, like the Brotherhood of Steel.
Right, and,
like
and a lot of the side quests, they were really cool, and they had like little lamplight kids who have their own community stuff.
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
and the stuff they did with the super mutants and the Enclave stuff. That stuff is cool.
yeah.
Apparently, they're gonna introduce the new California Republic, which hasn't been in any of the Bethesda games, because that's like an older Fallout thing.
Yeah.
Like, which is basically a lot of these post-apocalyptic stuff. They're like, okay, it's been hundreds of years after the world ended. Are you telling me the humans haven't managed to get any semblance of a real government going?
Yeah.
And they have. Maybe not in the Bethesda games, but in the original Fallouts, there's an actual like a American government, which is basically really a feudal empire that's kind of consuming everything around them. You know, which is a really cool kind of way to think about the future and all that stuff. They're gonna introduce them in some capacity. One of the main characters of the Fallout show is a ghoul. So these are kind of humans that have been so irradiated that they become immortal zombies, basically. And the radiation slowly eats away at the brains and they become like zombies. But otherwise, they're
like normal humans.
They're normal people. They just live forever. So yeah, we'll wait and see. I'm kind of tentatively excited about it. I'm more excited about just to see how it goes.
Amazon does pretty good with its series, though. I think, barring the first season of Wheel of Time, which people were not fans of, but it seems like the second season seems to be going pretty well.
I mean, we mentioned Invincible.
Yeah.
The Boys.
Jack Reacher. I mean, Reacher's people love, except for
he's so tall now.
Except for Republicans who found out that he's
so
leftist.
roided out.
Yeah, the man is huge.
Allegedly.
But yeah, I think I have a lot of faith in Amazon Studios to do something good there.
So it's being made by the people who made Westworld.
Ah, that's good.
The first season of Westworld was good, and then it became famously less good.
I gotta ask you though.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the look of the power armor?
It's a little bit cardboardy, and
it's giving me Warcraft. I'm getting the Warcraft vibe from it.
It's definitely the Bethesda power armor. Like, it's not the original
Obsidian.
Yeah. Which is another. Obviously, it was gonna be that. It's Bethesda's show, whatever. But I wish it looked more. It looks like they made it. I wish they could actually have the budget to make a real gigantic animatronic suit of armor. It looks like it's just a less expensive costume. It looks like a costume.
It looks like really well done cosplay.
Yeah.
In my view.
Which is not what I want.
No.
I want it to look like it's an actual thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought the guy out on stage with the power armor on the Game Awards, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're gonna look like in the show.
Yeah. It looked very like somebody's wearing a cosplay suit.
Great cosplay.
Yeah, which is not bad for cosplay, but for a production by Amazon Studios, hopefully, so what we've seen so far has all been like early looks and stuff, right? So hopefully they, in post, maybe that's what we said. We'll fix it in post.
Maybe. Well, yeah, I'm tentative about it. Hopefully it's good. I like Fallout. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get an announcement of a new Fallout game alongside it. Or
Fallout 77.
No more MMOs, Todd Howard. None. Stop it. Bad Todd Howard. I think it's going to wrap it up for this episode of Geeks Love Lists, though. Yeah, lots of good stuff coming out this year. Sure, I lost my words there for a second. Coming out this year. And yeah, hopefully there's some more interesting stuff and maybe another Barbenheimer situation. Hopefully video games are good this year again, although usually when we've had a really good year, there's a bit of a drought. So yeah, let's see how 2024 plays out. Let us know over on our socials what you're looking forward to this year, if there's anything that we've missed. That's on X, formerly Twitter, as well as Facebook. But yeah, from myself, Brendyn Lotz, thanks so much for joining us. From Robin Lee Chetty.
Take care, everyone.
And from Louis Monzon.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you next time.